It's that time. If you've been wondering what is going on in the Phoenix real estate market in the first month of 2021, I have all the information for you starting right now. Hey, what's up guys? It's Caitlin McKegg, the realtor here in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm talking today about what has been happening in our Phoenix real estate market the first month of this year, January of 2021. And if you don't live in Arizona, I would love to tell you that we actually got snow this week, if you can believe it or not. We got snow in different parts of Phoenix, hail, sleet, and tons of rain, which has been nice, but it's one of the reasons why I'm wearing this big sweater today because I am cold. It was in the 30s overnight. Some areas of the valley were at freezing temperatures and we're just not used to that here. But I know you didn't come here for the weather report, so I am gonna dive on into what's been going on in the Phoenix real estate market this month. Starting with our typical stats that I always give, our active listings are down 50% from last year. And if this is your first time watching my update video, these stats are all in comparison to January of 2020. Our listings under contract are up 23%. The monthly median sales price is up 15%, and that number is sitting at 335,000. And our months of supply, oh boy, it is down to 0.7. You guys, I have never had to report on a supply number that had a 0 in front of the decimal point. 0.7 means we don't even have a full month left of inventory in all of Phoenix. What that means is if no new homes were to go on the market for sale, we would run out of available homes for sale in 0.7 months, not even a full month. So knowing that information, you can understand why our prices are increasing here in Phoenix. We just don't have enough homes available. And I sound like a broken record because I say this on every weekly update and every monthly update, but it is getting seriously low. So let's take a look at our favorite market index from the Cromford report. If this is your first time watching this market update video from me, just so you know, I get all of this information from the Cromford report. They are a publication that studies the MLS data here in Phoenix and looks at every statistic on a daily basis and extrapolates that out for realtors to be able to use this data to educate their clients. So thank you to the Cromford report for being so diligent in data mining so that we have this great information. The market index is something that they've created that tracks and predicts price appreciation in the Phoenix market. That's the only thing it predicts is price appreciation. It does not predict the appreciation amount. It just predicts if we will see price appreciation. And this algorithm is based off of historical trends, seasonal factors, and our supply and demand factors here in the Phoenix area. A value of 100 is a balanced market. Anything below 100 is a buyer's market, and anything above 100 is a seller's market. Okay, so January of 2021, where do we sit with this CMI? Drum roll, please. 479.4. Now, as you see the date stamp on here, this was taken on January 25th. So at the time of this video coming out, it is more than likely quite a bit higher than that. Now remember, 100 is a balanced market. We are at 479, almost 500. For the last 3 years, this value has been anywhere between 150 to 250. And this past year in 2020 is when we started breaking through 300s, breaking into 400, and now we're probably gonna break into 500. You can see this shows both the supply index and the demand index. Our supply index is sitting at 26.7, which means we're about 73% below normal supply. Makes sense, right? With only 0.7 months left of inventory in all of Phoenix, 73% below normal sounds about right. Our demand index is sitting at 128, and that means we're about 28% above normal for demand. So as I say every week, it speaks for itself. We have low supply, 73% below normal, and we have higher than normal demand at 28% above normal. This is creating a ton of pressure in our market with a lack of homes for sale, with this high demand of buyers wanting to buy homes, which then creates higher prices. Every month I show you the market index by city, so let's take a look at that table now and see how far we've come since last month. As you can see, every city has a green arrow going upward, which means they've moved further in the direction of a seller's market. A couple months ago, we had some red arrows showing that some of these cities were slowing down, not a buyer's market by any means, but slowing down a little bit in terms of their velocity towards a higher seller's market. But the last 2 months, there's been nothing but green arrows. Chandler's in the top spot at 773.1, which is insane. Avondale has held the top spot most of last year, but Chandler swooped in, and Gilbert is in the 3rd spot. That actually was in the 1st spot last month, I think. Regardless, all of them are in the 700s, which is crazy. And if you look at the last column all the way on the right, you'll see where they were at last month. Chandler 582, Avondale 597, and Gilbert 648. All significant increases in the direction of a seller's market. The percent change is pretty significant as you look down the list. 40% for Maricopa, 29% in Peoria, 28% in Surprise. The 2 areas that saw the least amount of change was Fountain Hills and Paradise Valley. However, both are still in strong sellers markets. So I know all of this sounds crazy and feels really crazy to be in this seller's market, but the truth of the matter is we've hardly ever been in a balanced market. In the last 20 years, we've only seen a balanced market 3 times and a buyer's market once. This chart is from the Cromford report, and it's from a presentation that I attended recently. This shows the last 20 years since 2001 and a history of the market index. You can see where those red circles were drawn on the graph. That shows where we were in a balanced market over the last 20 years. The only times were in the early 2000s, then in 2010, and then again in 2014. But 2010 and 2014 were so brief, you probably hardly felt that we were in a balanced market. Of course, the buyer's market experience that we had was in 2005 through 2009, and I don't think anyone really wants to experience that again. If you didn't notice already, the blue line is a balanced market. Obviously, as I said earlier, the seller's market is anything above that blue line, and the buyer's market is anything below that blue line. So the point I'm trying to make here is, although this seller's market is crazier than what we've seen in the past, it's not normal for us to be in a balanced market. It hardly ever happens anyway. And to be honest, we'd all rather see a seller's market than a buyer's market. This is because we all want our homes to appreciate and not depreciate. In a buyer's market, values are going down, and in a seller's market, values are going up. While it's not a lot of fun to be a buyer in a seller's market, you still have that comfort in knowing that it's likely your property will continue to appreciate after you purchase, rather than depreciate right after you buy it. So I've talked a lot about prices continuing to rise through 2021. How do I know that, and why do I believe that it's true? It all really comes from this Cromford Market Index, and it's proven to be true over the last 20 years as they've followed it. So I want to show you this graph because it really illustrates what we're looking at here. Before I show you that though, if this video is helpful to you, make sure to give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And if you're not yet subscribed, subscribe to my channel. I post 3 new videos a week, all about living in Phoenix and Phoenix real estate. So if that would be helpful to you, hit subscribe and hit the bell. If you really want to do me a solid, share my video or my channel with someone else that might be interested. Okay, so here is the super cool graph that I like to geek out on. As I said before, the market index is a predictor of future annual price appreciation, and here's why. If you look at the black line, that is the market index. If you don't remember, the market index right now is sitting at 479. That's that number we discussed earlier. The Cromford report has tracked their market index since 2001, and following the black line on this chart, you can see where it's been over time. Obviously, we're at a pretty high level now on the right side of this graph. The blue bars show annual appreciation. Are you seeing a pattern here? The black line predicts what the blue line will do. The blue lines follow the same pattern as the black line, it just lags in the pattern. In 2006, you can see the black line went into a balanced market and then a buyer's market, and then the blue bars did the same. They went into a balanced market and then down further into a buyer's market as our prices dropped. Continuing to follow that black line, you see that it went up and so did the blue bars. It went back down, so did the blue bars. So price appreciation historically follows what the Cromford Market Index does. Now let's bring our attention to the far right of this graph. You can see a dip in the black line at the beginning of 2020. That is when the pandemic started and there was really no real estate activity. The blue lines follow that same pattern once again. The black line has since spiked up, so did the blue lines, but it's spiked up once again pretty significantly, and we have yet to see the blue line mimic that pattern. Thus, we can say price appreciation will continue over the next few months. Hopefully you think that graph is as cool as I do. But seriously though, I think 20 years of tracking this information and predicting accurately really proves that the market index is a predictor of price appreciation. That being said, the market index is crazy high and it continues to rise. That price appreciation is going to follow that pattern. Now, aside from the market index and price appreciation, one thing we can look at to kind of understand our sales price movement is comparing our list price per square foot of all of our active listings as compared to where it was a year ago. This isn't based on supply and demand, but rather it's based on what the seller's perceptions are of the market, right? So if they are going for a higher listing price and being more aggressive, obviously sellers are reading the market that they have more control and have the ability to get a higher price for their home. We're currently recording an average of about $330 per square foot for list prices on active listings. This time last year, that number was about $260 per square foot. This means that our asking prices have inflated about 27% over the last year. If that's not a crazy enough statistic for you, I have something else to share as well. To help you understand how low our supply is, in all of 2020, there were about 111,036 new listings added to the MLS over the entire year. 100,650 of those actually sold. Now, as of January 10th of this year, there are only 6,162 active listings left in the MLS. This is the lowest supply count that we've seen in 20 years. And the saddest part is 10% of those 6,000 listings are actually outside of the Phoenix metro area. I've talked a lot about supply, but part of the problem too is that demand. Remember, we have about 28% above normal demand happening right now. And not all of this is coming from inside the state or the city. It's actually coming from people moving from other states to Arizona. Arizona is ranked third in the nation for population growth, behind Texas and Florida in 2020. This map from Atlas, which is a moving company, is showing the areas where people are moving to, with any state that is the color blue being an inbound state. The states that are yellow are showing that people are leaving those states, and the red is showing that they're staying pretty balanced. California is a big reason why we have a lot of inbound migration here to Phoenix. Last year, California saw the first negative population change since the year 1900. Many of those residents have moved here to Phoenix, some to Texas, some to Florida, and other states that you're seeing as being positive migration states on that map. Even before COVID, people moving from California to Arizona represented about 23% of our inbound migration. So we're seeing population growth here in Phoenix from a variety of other states, people moving here, which is creating higher demand. And then of course we have people already living here who are moving around, and it's creating buyer demand. There's also buyer demand going on because of the low interest rates that we currently have. It's definitely a motivator for people to buy homes when the interest rates are low. We also have talk of the new administration giving a first-time home buyer credit and things of that sort, which would help buyers purchase homes in a more affordable way. All of these factors are increasing our demand, and I'm sure you can't forget our supply is just crazy low on top of that. For all of these reasons, I don't see much changing anytime soon here in Phoenix. If you're thinking of renting instead of buying because this is too competitive of a market for you, that's totally fine. But I will let you know that rental rates have actually increased about 13% year over year. So it's not like you're saving much money doing that either. So that's the state of the market as we start 2021. Before I wrap up, we have to talk about our dog of the week. Each week I highlight a dog at a local adoption or rescue agency in hopes of having them find their forever home. This week I am highlighting a dog from Underdog Rescue of Arizona, and his name is Saint. Now that you see this picture, you know why I could not pass him up. He is so adorable. They say he's a Plot Hound mix. He's brindle, he's about 3 years old. He's kind, silly, and loves to play. He's moderate to high energy, so he needs an active household. And they have some notes in there about his separation anxiety and kennel training. So make sure if you're interested, you read through all of that and be sure you would be a great home for Saint. In the description below, I have the link for you to check out Saint's profile at Underdog Rescue of Arizona. If you're not the right home for him, maybe you know someone and you could share his profile so he can get adopted. All right, so that's all I've got for this real estate update in January. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. You can call, text, or email anytime. If you're thinking about buying or selling here in Phoenix, I'm always happy to help and I can chat with you about that process. So feel free to reach out if there's anything I can do for you. Thank you so much for coming to my channel and watching my channel. I really appreciate it. I hope everyone has a great week, and I will see you back here next week.